is. Happy Monday. Here we are back again. We survived the weekend. Barely.
Yeah. It was a rough weekend, though, man.
It was a lot of fun, though. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll have to tell a story to tell on Wednesday about me trying to break the window of my own car and not being able to do it with a hammer. Couldn't even break my own window with a hammer.
It was
a good thing I didn't, man. Good thing I didn't, because I didn't have to do it. Turned out I didn't have to do it.
It turned out, yeah. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. But, like, in the aggregate, we had a really fun weekend.
Yeah. And then we saw this movie. It was recommended. Everybody's been talking about it. So.
I've been wanting to see this for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I saw the trailer, like, probably months and months ago. Yeah. And I was like, this was probably one of my most anticipated horror movies of the year. You know, because I like a good Stephen King adaptation. And I think it was definitely, I'm pretty sure it was Tammy, that even before this got made, she was like, man, they should do an adaptation of The Long Walk. They should do, you know what I mean? And finally somebody did it. What I didn't know was that they have been trying to make this fucking movie since like the 90s or the 2000s. Like George Romero was going to do it. Frank Darabont was going to do it. Like he had the rights for a little while. He's the guy that did The Mist and, you know, he works on The Walking Dead and all that. And they just never got around to it. So finally, somebody did an adaptation of The Long Walk, and it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I really liked it.
Yeah. It starred that same black guy that was in Alien Earth.
Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus, that's right.
That British actor.
Yeah, the British actor.
Although he's not British in this, he's playing like a Southerner.
Yeah, he's playing like a Southern guy. Yeah, he played the synth in the... Who becomes super synth once he gets the fucking upgrade. The Wayland upgrade.
He's a great actor, man. Yeah, because as soon as we saw him, he's like the main, like one of the two main characters in this. He plays Peter DeVries, and we were like, hey, it's that guy from Alien Romulus.
Yeah, he's an interesting actor. Now his southern accent was pretty good through most of it. There's a couple times where he kind of forgot about his accent. I think you could. It kind of like it didn't quite sound British, but it went a little sidiways in certain.
But not so much. I didn't really.
Not so bad though. It was mostly pretty good. Mostly good. What I did appreciate though is he really hardened up for this fucking film. His arms look fucking great. And that's part of his character is that he's in good shape for this run or for this walk. And spoiler.
Well, should we spoil it? This movie's pretty new. I don't know. Well, probably we should because I did kind of want to discuss a little bit maybe the differences between the movie and the book, and one of the differences is the ending. Yeah. It's not a massive well, is it? Like it's kind of a massive difference. But yeah, so to do that would probably spoil it. I don't think it's not in theaters anymore, I'm pretty sure. We rented it on Amazon Prime and it's marked down now as $9.99. Whereas it was $20 like last week, so I'm assuming it's not in theaters anymore, but it might still be. So I don't know. So I'll just say going forward, like, yeah, there probably will be spoilers, at some stage, just because I want to compare it to the book a little bit. But yeah, I thought, Tammy said I really liked this, heart-wrenching as it was. Yeah, this was, man, they did a really good job, like, setting up the characters so much that, like, there was a lot of, like, emotional stakes to it. You know what I mean? Especially that one scene toward the end where it was getting like toward the end and Garrity's mom was like at the side and she was like freaking out and he was just like, wow, that was like horrifying to fucking watch.
Yeah, I never read the book, or the novelette. I think it's a novella.
It's a novella, yeah.
I never read the novella, but I could see a lot of Stephen King in it, and I could kind of imagine how he'd be writing it, how he would have written it. It's pretty good. It's taking place in a dystopian past, it's like
an alternate timeline, which I like that they did that. Like they didn't try to make it modern.
No,
because the novel. Now I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but I think he wrote the novel back in the '60s, but I don't think it was published furbed up and published until like the '70s. I think it came out in 1979. So this is kind of like, they don't really say what year it is or what happened or anything like that, but it's definitely an alternate timeline. It's definitely not the modern era.
No, it's 70s.
It looks like 70s.
But by the uniforms, it's late 60s, early 70s.
But it's an alternate 70s.
They're carrying M16A1s. They're using the old OD Green Army slant pocket BDUs. That's Vietnam era, late 60s. early 70s.
So I thought that was cool. That was a good decision, I thought, rather than trying to make it modern, because there would be they'd have to change too much.
If it changed too much, it'd be cell phones and people recording things.
Yeah, it wouldn't really be the same.
And it's kind of like a military forced march. It's kind of like Hunger Games, where they.
Interestingly, the director of this was the same guy that directed the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
I think all of the Hunger Games.
Same kind of concept. It's a dystopian America in the 70s, and they take volunteers and they do this basically a forced march to the death. The last one that survives gets a huge prize and gets any wish fulfilled, and it's like part of a national kind of a morale boosting thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's also kind of an intimidation thing also.
For sure.
To show the people that well, they basically said that the reason the United States was fucked up is because of you. You guys aren't fucking really working hard enough, and you guys are slackers. It's that kind of deal. You failed America. It's that kind of shit. And these kids have volunteered to basically kind of fucking...
volunteer.
Yeah, show y'all up. And they're willing to walk to the death, and fucking then the one that wins. And then, so that's the basic setup. I've been on, being ex-infantry, going through fucking infantry AIT, and fucking being in 101st and 2nd ID up in Korea. A lot of forced marches, man. As an M60 gunner, carrying a lot of shit, sometimes over 100 pounds of equipment. But a lot of this reminded me of like some of the stuff that was done in basic training, when you have like dudes of mixed physical developments and skills, where you got the strong, the mids, and the weak all together, and you're going through these marches, and the weak aren't making it. And it's like that. But in this one, if they fall behind, they shoot them to the death.
Yeah.
And it goes about pretty much like I expected how it to go. And it did fit the pattern. The story does. The weak get weak first, and they get killed, and they are eliminated from the march, which kind of energizes the guys that are still in there. And then the mids start falling out, and their elimination energizes the strong. And then the few strong ones that are left, then it gets hard, because those are the ones that were the real competitors, and it becomes very grueling. But in this case, instead of being kicked out of basic, or fucking, being recycled through basic, you're gonna be killed. So it's to the death.
Get shot.
Yeah. So, yeah. But they did a lot of the same things we would do, fucking, you couldn't stop, so you pissed while you walked.
And pooped while you walked.
Yeah, well, they did, but we didn't have to do that. We just drank a lot of fluids.
Yeah.
You just fucking turn around, walking backwards, and fucking talking to your buddies. It was just normalized.
Man, that one scene where that dude had like diarrhea and stuff, I was like gagging. Like I have a hard time watching that kind of shit in movies. But I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of shit that would happen. That's really fucked up. And I think he might have mentioned that in the book too. It's been a while since I've read it.
Yeah, because they ended up walking over 400 miles. They walked for 4 days.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 days or something like that.
Yeah.
And
most of them were gone in 2 days though.
Yeah, like they thin it out pretty quick. In the original novel, it was 100 kids.
Yeah.
100 boys. But obviously for the movie they winnowed it down to 50 because, they didn't want to be, I saw another review saying it's like, yeah, they didn't want to pay another 50 extras, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'd be quicker to like winnow them down. And they did kind of eliminate a couple characters and combine a couple characters, but most of the characters are kind of sorta like the way they were in the book. But I liked that another thing too that I thought this was funny. I was watching this guy that was comparing the two because it's been a long time since I read the novel. Like I went and read the synopsis and everything so I could compare, but this guy was kind of going into it, and he said that in the original book you actually had to maintain 4 miles per hour.
It's a little faster.
Which is, he's like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that for like that many days. There's no way. So in the movie, they made it 3 miles per hour, which is more reasonable walking pace. And it's not, it's still like not super, super believable. I mean, I guess like some people, if they just had endurance, like, yeah, they could walk that.
What killed a lot of them is that they hit a hill. And they couldn't maintain.
Yeah, that wiped out
tired,
like a whole bunch of them.
That killed a bunch of them. Some of the things about the way the march was set up kind of wasn't realistic because I've been on road marches like that. It'd be more realistic if you had the controllers in the back, all right, marching or walking at 3 miles an hour, and if they passed you, they shot you. But they weren't doing that. They were shooting dudes in the front that has stopped. They'd get a warning.
Well, you got 3 warnings. If you stopped, if you fell below 3 miles an hour, because they lay out the rules pretty quickly. Yeah. If you fall below 3 miles an hour, you get a warning. If it happens again, you get another warning. If it happens a third time, then you get shot. And then you have to wait, I think it was 3 hours before your demerits or whatever would reset, and then you could start over again.
It'd be hard to manage all that.
Also, you couldn't just run off the road.
They'd kill you.
We were assuming, I don't think they explicitly stated this, but I said we were assuming that you couldn't just straight up kill the other walkers.
Yeah, because that's what I would do.
Because, because some fucking psychopath would start it and just start killing everybody from the first and be like, I win!
I go to the weakest one first and kill him.
So I'm assuming that's also against the rules.
Yeah, because they didn't. Well, one dude did fuck with the guy's mind so bad that it threw him off his game and he fell. Yeah. And it caused him to
that's be allowed. But I don't think you could physically attack or bring a knife with you and just start stabbing them or whatever.
Because you would think that people would do that.
Because you'd think people would figure out, I'll just right the finish line. I don't have to walk a single fucking step.
Right. Because you wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't have anything to lose. They were all going to die except one. And if you're going to, I'm going to be that one. That's the way, I'm just going to kill all these other guys.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's against the rules, because otherwise you'd have one psycho every time they would just do that. Without having to walk that far, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Don't even go through all that heartache.
Yeah, put everybody out of their misery.
Right. Because that's what, and they kind of went
especially going after the weak ones, because they had no chance.
They kind of went into this a little bit in the movie, too, is that even though, technically, you volunteered for it, they kind of have a discussion later. It's they tell us everyone volunteers for it, but it's does anybody know anybody that didn't put their name in for it? So it's almost kind of low-key compulsory, even though they don't frame it that way. Yeah. I'm assuming that if you don't sign up for it, you're going to have some people show up at your house or some shit like that. I said, they didn't say that outright, but that's what I'm assuming.
They got this old decrepit military officer who's running the mission too, talking shit and trying to inspire them. Major something or other, and it's Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill plays the major.
Yeah, and he's looking like shit in his fucking uniform.
He's a great character,
but he's good at it.
He's not in it a lot. Yeah. He's just you mostly just hear his voice yelling at him, and he shows up and tries to inspire him and stuff, to keep walking. It's pretty fucking funny.
So he got a job. He did good.
Yeah, I liked him in this. But like I said, it's interesting you mentioned the Hunger Games, because I didn't realize, but the guy that directed this, Francis Lawrence, also directed the Hunger Games movies. And unfortunately, he also directed that I Am Legend movie with Will Smith that I hate. Yeah. But he did Constantine too, which is an okay movie.
I went back, I saw I Am Legend, went back and reviewed it. It actually wasn't as bad as I remembered it. It was better than I remembered it. It's not as good as Omega Man though.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. Also, the guy that wrote the screenplay of this, J.T. Molnar, you may have heard me mention him before because he was the writer-director on one of my favorite horror movies from last year, which was Strange Darling. So I thought that was kind of cool that he was involved. Like I said, there are some changes from the novel, which honestly, I think were probably the right decision as far as movie goes. Because you can kind of say, the novel is actually, even though the whole plot is essentially dudes walking, but there's a lot of inherent drama in it because of all the friendships that develop and just very you could kind of worry, but everyone's gonna get killed, and so it's really harrowing. And I think he did a good job of portraying that in the movie. It's not boring, it's not nothing, it's just really riveting the whole time. And all of the actors, I didn't realize, but the guy in this that plays Garrity, Ray Garrity, who's kind of, like I said, him and Peter DeVries are the two main characters, that is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, which I was oh, now I can see it. He does kind of look like a Philip, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. You would know him if you saw him. Yep. He was in a million things. He was in The Master. He was in Boogie Nights. Mm-hmm. He's been in a million things. He's passed away, sadly. But yeah, that was his son, and I didn't realize because I hadn't. He looked kind of familiar, but I probably seen him.
The characters make a rookie mistake when they get involved in this. They decide that to get through this, they're going to have to make friends. That's the last thing you want to do if fucking everybody's going to die. You want to be totally fucking on your own and have no emotional connection to anybody else because they're all goners. If you get connected with them, when they die, it affects you, and it might affect your survival, which that's what happens. That's what happens.
Well, to be honest with
you... The dude that won ended up fucking losing, basically. He didn't get it because he was connected to the kids that died. Had he just shut his fucking mouth and not given a fuck about everybody, he would have got his prize. But they wanted to make a moral statement with the movie.
Well, and the thing about it is, even when I first read the novel, even though it can be read on its own as just like a survival horror, obviously, it's kind of almost like metaphorical, like just for life in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, everyone's going to die in the end.
Right.
So it's like, you might as well have friends on the way and stuff like that, because it's like, you're all in the same fucking boat.
Yeah.
That's kind of what... It's just kind of like a metaphor for that.
Metaphor, but it's a big difference. 4 days and the rest of your life, a big difference. You know what I mean? Especially with what they could win.
Yeah. The thing about it, I don't know...
So you ended up going through all that for nothing.
Like I said, it's been a long time since I read the novel. And I'm not really sure if this was implied in the movie. I thought that it was implied in the book, because I remember thinking this when I was younger, when I read the novel, that I don't even think anybody got the shit at the end. I thought it was all like fake, like they just told people that, like to get them to do it. Like I didn't even think anybody would get anything.
I don't know, because they gave him what he asked for, but they killed him.
That's true.
Because
they don't. Okay, yeah. So like I said, this is kind of where the spoiler alert kind of thing happens, because if you have read the book, you will know that in the book. Okay, so in the movie, Ray Garrity and Peter DeVries are the last two. Now in the book, it's not. It's actually Ray Garrity and Stebbins. Stebbins, who is the one who turns out to be the Major's son, which they do say in the movie, and that was in the book too. He was actually the last two, but then he just died. Like his body just gave out. He was the one that said he was the rabbit, like at the Greyhound race or whatever. Yeah. And then in the novel, Ray Garrity technically wins, but he's so fucking out of it that he just keeps on walking, like, and he sees like a dark figure up in the distance, and he's like, who is that? And he just keeps following, and he doesn't even realize that he won. So it's kind of like a lot more ambiguous sort of ending. Whereas in the movie, spoiler alert, Ray and Peter DeVries are the last two, and Ray essentially sacrifices himself so that Peter can win.
Yeah.
And Peter takes it upon himself to do Ray's wish, which was to shoot the Major.
Yeah.
That was not in the book. Now, in the book, Ray did say that his dad got taken away by the squads, but he didn't see his dad get executed or anything like that. Because in the movie, they specify that Ray saw his dad get executed, like, in front of him by the Major, and so he joined the walk to get revenge, which I actually liked that, because that gave him like a lot stronger motivation, like to win, right? Because he's like, I'm gonna kill this fucker. So I liked that they added that gave it that added push. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna give him some prize money, and then they would grant a wish, and the wish was, he says, I wish for one of those carbines that you guys are carrying as a memento of my survival, and he says to give him the carbine, I'm gonna shoot him.
Yeah,
and that's his buddy does it instead. Kills it.
Because they have a whole discussion at first, because Peter DeVries in the movie, at least, is kind of a very optimistic character. Like, he grew up like really fucked up, and he decided that he was only going to see the good in things or the beauty in things. And so he has like a big long discussion with Ray. It's like, why you want to do that? It's like, why you want to waste the prize if you win or anything like that on just this petty revenge. They're not going to let you get away with it, and all this other kind of stuff. Don't do it for that. You can, you got your mom, you can take care of your mom and all this other kind of stuff. So they seem to kind of come to an agreement about it. But then at the end, like after everything happens and Peter DeVries actually ends up winning, he takes it upon himself
to ask for the carbine.
To ask for the carbine. And he doesn't, but the cool thing about it though is that he doesn't do it out of revenge. He does it to honor Ray to honor his friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's why because he didn't give a shit if the Major got killed or not, and he knew he would probably get killed. But they don't show that, which I think is really interesting. I mean, I'm assuming that they probably just shot him.
But the next time you see him, he's by himself out on the road.
Yeah.
Like he's all alone. Well, where did that whole crowd of people go? He's in the spirit world.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. That's what I'm assuming. Because they wouldn't let anybody just get away with that, right? Although, the way... I really like that scene because, like, the way Mark Hamill, as the Major, like, reacted to it, you could tell that that's probably not the first time that had happened. Because I was like, in the whole history of The Long Walk, because in the movie and in the book, like, it's established this has been going on for, like, a long time. You would think that that had happened multiple times. I mean, I would think. Because not only do you get, like, all this money, but you also get, within certain parameters, I'm assuming, you can have one wish, like, absolutely anything you wish for, like, they'll give it to you. So, if you ask for this, like, hey, give me that soldier's fucking AK over there, like, you know what I mean, or whatever, then they have to give it to you.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that other people would have thought of that also. And like I said, Mark Hamill was just kind of like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's, and he just wasn't like phased by it at all.
Well, he gave a plausible reason. He says, I want to give that to my son, and fucking as a memento of everything I did. I think it was something. I think he said, I want my son to see that, or something like that.
Yeah, or I want to give it to somebody, like, give it to my grandkids one day, or something like that.
Yeah. She said, okay, give it to him. Yeah. And then he pointed at him and goes, no, hold on, think about it. You haven't done any harm yet, but you're gonna throw it all away. You can have anything you want, this and that. You can walk off in the sunset, and then. Mark Hamill gave him a good spiel. Sounded reasonable. I was like, yeah, dude, just fuck that. Take the prize, man. You earned it. You're not gonna bring any of those kids back. But he did the honorable thing and shot the guy.
Yeah, because that's what Ray wanted.
Yeah, but he sacrificed his life for it though.
Well, he knew he was doing that.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, it's not. It's fiction. It's not supposed to be like realistic. Like I said, it's metaphorical in a lot of ways, but I like that they ended it like that though. I like the book ending too, but I don't think that would have worked in a movie necessarily because people have been like, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of bullshit ambiguous ending is that? It works in the book, but I think what the book was kind of going for, like, a more existential, like I said, it's almost like a metaphorical thing of just like life, and he was just so fucked up by the whole process that by the end of it, it didn't even matter that he won because he's like, he's just never going to recover from that, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the point that he was trying to make there. But I kind of liked the movie was kind of more centered on, like, friendship and honor and, what are you willing to sacrifice and stuff like that. And I kind of like, it was, like, a lot more resonant, I guess.
Well, another thing is that the media was there, a huge crowd of people. So they kind of lead you to believe that what it is it's a kind of a theatrical act of rebellion
that too.
In front of the whole world you saw, because when the dude's dad got killed, he told him, he says, never forget who you are, and fucking and then that's before they killed him. So it was an act of public defiance against the regime. Yeah, which leads you to believe that maybe that inspired other people to do right. They were standing up against it,
like, because he knew he wouldn't survive that. Yeah, but he was just like, well, I'm gonna do this, and maybe other people will. Me
being kind of a realist, though, dudes do that all the time, and they're just portrayed as acts of crime on the fucking news. You know what I mean? He thinks it's an act of rebellion, and what would happen is they shoot that dude, and then they'd immediately fucking erase it from history like it didn't happen, and they go back to doing the long walk.
But yeah, like I said, the reason that people like fictional stories like this is because it doesn't work out like it does in real life. It is reality. You know what I mean? Yes, maybe in the universe of this world, like, everybody saw that and was like, man, that was really cool. Let's fucking let's fuck some shit up. You know what I mean? Let's say fuck. And you're like, yeah, fuck the man. Yeah. So I like that. And like I said, I like that they added those, like, more emotional stakes to it, I guess. Another thing that I had forgotten that they changed was that in the book, Ray had a girlfriend. So, I mean, he says he had a girlfriend in the movie, but he said, no, we broke up before this because I knew I probably wasn't, because I might not make it and stuff like that. But in the book, like, one of the main things was he wants to get to, I think it was Freeport, to see her. And I think his mom is there too, but he's just like, whatever, mom, like, you know what I mean? And he's just kind of like thinking about his girlfriend like the whole time. Like he kind of like glorifies her. Is like that's like freedom at the end. Whereas in this, I think it's better that they kind of just focused on the mom. Like she's not in it a lot, but you know, they had the shared trauma of seeing the dad like killed in front of them, and she really didn't want him to volunteer for this, and so she's like all fucked up about it. And you know, I guess he thinks that he's gonna get revenge like for her too.
And it was the South, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be, although they shot this interestingly in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, okay. But it was supposed to be the South, wasn't it?
Yeah, although
They never really named any place.
They didn't really name it, but I like that because it kind of universalized it. Yeah. It definitely looked like some fucking Jodes kind of shit was going on. Like, you know what I mean?
Some of it looked like Alabama.
It did. Like, it looked like the South. But they shot it in Winnipeg, though. Another interesting thing about this movie was that they shot it, and they hardly ever do this if you know anything about making movies, they shot it in sequence. Like, they shot it in order. Because they wanted the relationships between the actors and stuff like that to organically grow the way they would, like, if, you know what I mean? And also, like, people getting tired and shit like that. So they wanted that kind of added realism, I guess, which I thought was kind of interesting. But, man, I will say, too, that this was pretty fucking, it was pretty fucking brutal. Like, they didn't show everybody getting shot, because that would have just been, like, kind of boring after a while. You're like, yep, that dude got shot and stuff like that. But, because some of the people just got shot in the background. Like, you know, because not everybody got introduced, obviously. There's 50 people starting out, and you can't have a movie with 50 fucking characters in it. You're not going to give a shit about them, right? So they're just focusing kind of on 5 or 6 characters, really. And the other ones are just kind of cannon fodder.
Tammy's going, yeah, but they're kids. No, they're not kids. Some of them were kids, but you have to understand.
Now, technically, I think they implied that they were supposed to be 18 because
18,
one of the kids at the beginning, they were teasing him because they said that kid's 16, like he lied about his age to get in here.
Yeah, and that's how old we were.
And he was like the first one to get.
That's how old we are when we start in the infantry. So, no. Like, they expect you to kill people and get killed at 18. Nowadays, they call that a kid. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it is kind of a kid still, but you know what I
mean. Fuck, man. Japan was bombed flat by fucking 21-year-olds.
Well,
20-year-olds. I think the average fucking...
That doesn't make it any less fucked up,
The average
though.
bomber pilot was 19.
Just like that song.
Ridiculous. 19 was... yeah.
Who did that song? Frank
B-24 Liberators and shit. Fucking burning down Japan. They're like 19.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Even though they changed a lot from the... I think all of the changes that they made were the right decision. I mean, it's a great novel, but, you know, the same thing that works on the page doesn't work in a movie, like always. So, and I think the best Stephen King adaptations have been the ones that not necessarily changed the most, but that understood that. Because a lot of stuff in Stephen King's novels that works really good in the novel, it doesn't really work that good in a movie. As I brought up many times before, that's why I really don't like the Stephen King / Mick Garris adaptation of The Shining as much as I like Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, because Stanley Kubrick changed a lot because he understood that shit that works in a book doesn't work in a movie. Not always. But they didn't... I mean, the core of the story is still pretty much exactly the same. Like I said, they shuffled some of the characters around a little bit. They took out, I think there was a character in there named Scram or something like that they took that guy out, but they gave his personality traits to like a couple of other characters. But the dynamic between the characters was similar enough. And I think they did a really good job. I mean, all of the actors in this were phenomenal. I thought like all the main, 5 or 6 guys were really, really good. And you really need to have like an emotional connection with the characters in this to make it have an impact. If you don't give a fuck about them, you're just like, he got shot, who gives a shit, you know what I mean? You have to really kind of get... So I think that's why, if you're gonna make a movie like where they're just like, well, we're not gonna be friends and we don't give a shit if you get shot, it's like, yeah, okay, but you're not gonna like get into that movie because you don't care about the characters. If they all make friends with each other and it's this big tragic thing, then obviously that's going to have like a lot more emotional.
There should have been one dude in there that was fucking like a bummer, who would be talking them down, fucking trying to wear them down. Y'all, That should have been his strategy. There should have been one dude that was a fucking psycho, just trying to wear him down.
Well, that one guy...
He ain't gonna make it.
That one guy, what was his fucking name? It started with a B.
Yeah, he regretted
that dude was like a real asshole.
Yeah, he regretted it.
And but the thing about, and I like that they did a really good job of this, I thought, because like when they first started it out, ostensibly everybody knows about the long walk, everybody knows what it is. It's been going on every year for however long. And so everybody understands the rules. Like, you're going to get shot. Like, everyone's going to die except one person. But I thought they did a good job of conveying that you wouldn't really believe that
until you saw
it happen, like in front of your face. And I thought it was great that, like, when the first kid gets shot and they're all fucking horrified because they're like, oh shit, it's real. Yeah. Like, I don't think, and I think even one of them, I think even DeVries says later on, he's like, I don't know, he's like, this is going to sound stupid, but he's like, I kind of thought that the first one they shot, it was like a little flag with bang was going to come out, like it wasn't really going to happen.
Yeah.
But then that, like, they kind of talked a little bit too about how after a while you get desensitized, and how one of them said, man, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Like, I don't want to not give a shit, like, when people get killed. So, I don't know, like, it's a pretty heavy movie, you know what I mean? I was watching another review of it. I think it was Cody Leach, and he really, really likes this movie. He's really into Stephen King. He had never read the novel. Actually, he said, this kind of shocked me because he's a big horror guy. He said he had never read any Stephen King novels. He's not much of a reader. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? Not even one? That's crazy. But so he hadn't read any Stephen King. So, but he loved Stephen King adaptations. And he's like, I loved this movie so much, but I don't know if I'd ever watch it again just because it was kind of hard to watch. You know what I mean? Like, he found it kind of hard to watch. Barkovich, that's right. Yep. That was the guy's name.
Tammy's going on how immature boys are at 18.
Yeah, they are.
Tammy, when I joined the infantry, I was 20, and I was the old man. I was the old man in our training platoon. There may have been one or maybe two other guys that were in the 2021 category. But by the time I was in Korea, I was turning 21. So, a few months later. So, but most of them were 18. 19, like that. And I think some of them might have been a little bit younger, because I think you could get in at 17. I think if you have like a parent's signature or something like that, I think you could get in at 17. I think. It's been a long time. I remember there were some irregularities. And then we had basically mercenaries with us. They were from Micronesia, the island boys. And some of them I think were a little bit younger. And they went through like an Olympic trials to get recruited. Their whole families were rooting for them to get into the military because that was the biggest source of income of that little island. And when they made it, they sent almost all of their paycheck back home. The Micronesians did. They're kind of like our version of a Gurkha. They were like a U.S. protectorate. And they were badass little soldiers, man. Badasses. Little bitty guys. 5'4", 5'3". But man, they were tough.
Hunter Hewitt said, just subscribe to the channel. Loved the Long Walk movie. Have you seen The Running Man? If you're talking about the original 80s Running Man, yes, I actually love that movie, and I've read the book as well. I saw that aren't they making another adaptation of it? Didn't we see a trailer last time we went to the movies? I'm pretty sure I saw a trailer for another version of The Running Man, which is kind of more modernized. It might be alright. I'm not really sure. It's not technically, it's, I guess, not a remake of the movie because it's another adaptation of the novel, but I don't know. I'll reserve my judgment. But I love the original Running Man. It's like, it's so fucking over the top. I love that they got fucking Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
He was like perfect in that fucking movie. Like, it's a lot different than the novel, but that's okay. Now, David Brown says the ending sucked. Should have stuck with the novel ending. I mean, that's a valid point of view. But like I said, I liked the novel ending, but I don't know if it would have worked for the movie. Because like I said, I think it's a little, in a book it works because it's a lot more ambiguous and like kind of more bleak and philosophical, I suppose. But I don't know if it might have just like pissed movie audiences off, or they thought it was too vague, or they're like, what the fuck happened, or whatever. So in a way, I don't know. I think the ending of the movie was equally bleak but slightly more crowd pleasing, I guess, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Because at least like everybody got to see like, oh, the spoiler alert, the Major got shot, so you know that wasn't just left hanging. So I think that was kind of a more definitive, you know, I see why they did it, but like I didn't mind. I thought it was pretty good. Ben says the new Running Man is really good. I saw it at the cinema weeks ago.
Huh.
Interesting. I didn't even realize it had come out yet. I remember seeing the trailer. What was the last movie we saw at the theater? We reviewed it.
A horror movie.
Yeah, I know it was, but
I forgot what it was called.
What the fuck was it?
Shit,
man.
Wasn't Weapons, was it?
I mean, we did see Weapons in the theater, but I thought
there was one after that.
But I thought we saw one after that. We reviewed it. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
My brain is like Swiss cheese at this fucking point.
We've seen so many of these things.
I know, but like, I'll remember in a minute. But
I'll see the new Running Man when it's out on.
Yeah,
streaming.
I'd be interested to see a new take on it.
This theatrical release, I don't think anybody saw it.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it came out.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing the trailer and being like, it might be interesting, but I didn't know.
I just remember somebody put up a video about, like, oh, man, how badly it bombed.
Here's the weird thing, is that Stephen King has so many fucking novels and stories and stuff that have never been adapted. It's like, I know they want the name recognition and stuff, but it's just kind of like, why not make one that hasn't been made before, you know? Like, we didn't really need another version of Firestarter. We didn't really need another version of Pet Sematary. We didn't, because they already made those, you know what I mean? They made them in the 80s, you know, or 90s, and Pet Sematary's, was that 90s? I don't even remember. Maybe it was 89, I can't remember. But, you know, he's had so much stuff that, like, never got made that would actually probably be really good. So I'm glad that, like, you know, this is the first time this has been made, even though they've been trying to make it for a long time. So I'm glad that somebody finally took something that had not been, that hadn't been made before of his, and did something really good with it. I mean, I thought they did a really good job. Like I said, yes, a movie about just a bunch of boys walking could be, you know, potentially could be really boring, but this was not boring at all. Like, I was not bored. I was, like, completely invested, like, in all the characters. Like, when someone died, like, you knew they were all going to die, but... Man, when that one kid, when they gut shot him, just like laid there, let him lay there, and he was like screaming and shit. Ugh, that was awful. So it's pretty fucking brutal because you liked that kid, you know what I mean? And all the main characters, you kind of like them. So when shit like that happened to him, you're like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah, the CGI special effects for the fucking M16. Shots were pretty good. Actually, some of the headshots are kind of tame compared to the way it really looks like. Fucking 5.56 fucking man that fucks a head up pretty bad. But I guess you did a pretty good job.
Yeah. And like I said, I like that they didn't overdo it. Like, it wasn't like a splatterfest.
Yeah.
But they made it look like fairly realistic, where they really only focused on the deaths that would have the most impact. Like I said, because a lot of the people, you know, there's 50 of them, and like you didn't even know some of their names. So like some of them just got shot in the background, or like you just saw them like get shot and they'd fall down like back there, like while the people in the front were like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But I think that was good because then like the characters that they'd actually established, like when they started falling, like then it had a lot more impact, I think, because you can't, if you have too much violence in a movie, then you just become desensitized to it and you're just like, yeah, whatever, like it doesn't have any impact. You have to kind of, but I thought this was really, really well done. Like I said, I don't know, it's kind of a bummer movie, but the story is kind of a bummer. I mean, this was really from the Bachman books. Probably Tammy remembers. So the Bachman books had Rage, which they should make a movie of that. I don't think they're going to. But they made movies about school shooters. They made We Need to Talk About Kevin. That was about that. I mean, it was based on a novel, but yeah. So it had Rage, it had Long Walk, it had Running Man. What was the fourth one? What was the fourth story that was in Bachman books? Does anybody remember? I can't remember for the fucking life of me. And I have it, but I don't know where it went. I have like the paperback. But I can't remember what the fourth one. Is Apt Pupil in that collection? No, I think Apt Pupil is in different seasons, I want to say. That was another one that had 4 stories in it. The Breathing Method, thank you. That was the other one. Yeah, they haven't made that into a movie either. I don't even remember what happens in that. Is that about a pregnant lady? I haven't read it in a long time. And I need to go back and read some more Stephen King.
They're talking about The Running Man, how good the new one is versus the old one. You know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one, I actually was kind of a weak Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I mean, it did have some good...
And it wasn't a super faithful adaptation of the novel, I will say.
It did have some good cinematic stuff.
That's right, road work, that was it.
Dawson really did a good job. But it was pretty basic, and it didn't have any action in it. Whenever a fight happened, it was like abbreviated. You never really saw exactly what happened and how somebody got killed.
Yeah.
So it was very, very... And evidently they did shoot it, but they edited it out.
That's a bummer.
Because they didn't want it... I think they were trying to keep it a PG rating or something, and they didn't... Or they
See,
were afraid
they did
to get
that
an
shit
X
even
rating.
in the 80s.
They even did it back then. Or it was that they didn't want it to get an X rating.
It's nothing new.
And I don't even think there was any blood in that.
Yeah, I don't remember
Somebody's
it
head
being...
blew up in the beginning when they escaped from a prison. That's one thing that happened. But it wasn't. There wasn't a lot of action in that movie. It made you think that there was action, but there wasn't much. Not much happens in it.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen the original Running Man from '87. I haven't seen that in a while. We reviewed it, but I don't think I've watched it since then.
No, it
doesn't. Do we have it? Don't we?
Oh yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I thought we had it.
It doesn't compare.
We have like a million DVDs and Blu-rays.
It doesn't compare to Predator.
Well, no,
Predator 1. It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare to.
It's kind of a B tier.
Terminator 1.
Well,
yeah,
I mean that's like A tier.
Whoa, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
I like Terminator 1 better than Terminator 2. And then
Running Man's probably B or C tier. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
And then Total Recall is hard to beat. The writing and the storytelling is very fucking tight in that, and that's a fun movie. And really, Running Man's not there for an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's got a lot of the visual aspects and a lot of the hype and the spirit, but the substance really isn't there. There isn't much action. They just make you think. They make you think that there's action, but all the real action was cut out.
Now Ben says it's not much like the Schwarzenegger film. It's about 3 hours, and it's mostly spy stuff with him wearing disguises and trying to hide out across the country for a month. So that's kind of more like the novel, because the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is not that much. Yeah. The basic premise is the same, but the execution is a lot different than the novel.
The best thing about fucking Arnold's fucking catalog, it was actually Total Recall. And the best thing about that is all your Arnold Schwarzenegger fans, all the dudes that really love that movie, it's really hard to convince them that was all a hallucination. But it is.
Well, yeah.
It is. He got the fucking vacation that he paid for. He paid to go to Mars as a super spy, save the world, and fucking get the girl and save Mars. And that's exactly what he got. It was all a hallucination. And they told him he would believe it down 100%.
And he did.
And you, the observer, if you were an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, you believed it too. But no.
It's a mindfuck, that movie.
That was it's fucking Dix, man. Philip K. Dix. That's the way he wrote
dick,
shit.
It's just
dick.
one dick.
Yeah, but
just the one.
One dick isn't enough, I guess.
One dick isn't enough. He's got a 2 prongs.
Yeah. So I thought anyway, he he wrote shit like that. You know what I mean? The original Blade Runner, which was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I read that. It's nothing really like Blade Runner.
No, not at all.
But that was kind of a mindfuck too, and it's because of all the acid he was on. I think
that definitely helped.
He was a smart guy. He's on a lot of acid and fucking thinking of a lot of shit.
Tammy corrected. Yeah, Road Work is the 4th one. That's right. That was a good story too. I don't think they've ever made an adaptation. But the weird thing about it is that every now and then, like if you're kind of trolling through Tubi or Hulu or Amazon Prime or something like that, like every now and then you'll come across like a random Stephen King adaptation that you didn't even know anybody made into a movie. Like a few years ago, I found a movie called Mercy that had Chandler Riggs from Walking Dead, you know, Carl.
Yeah.
And it was based on Stephen King's story, Grandma. And I was like, when the fuck did anybody make Grandma into a movie? Nobody told me about this. It's not a great movie. And really, I mean, that story is not super long. And really, like, only the last, like, third of the movie is the short story. And then they just kind of filled in a bunch of stuff. It's decent, but it was, like, nothing to write home about. But I kind of... That happens all the time. Was it because didn't they make The Boogeyman with... David Dastmalchian was in that? And I watched... I don't think I reviewed it, but I watched it. I was like, ah, it was all right. That was about the one that was like the monster in the closet that was like eating all the people's kids and stuff. That was I don't remember what was that in Skeleton Crew. I don't even remember now. But it was a short story.
That was in
Skeleton Crew. That got made into a movie as well, which was okay. It was all right, but yeah. Ben said, wasn't Mercy already a Stephen King film? Well, I mean, yeah, was it? No, Misery was. They need to remake Maximum Overdrive. They made another version of it called Trucks, which is what the original story was called. The story was just called Trucks. Maximum Overdrive was just the name of the movie. I haven't seen Trucks. I have seen Maximum Overdrive multiple times. It's a terrible, terrible movie, but in the best, most entertaining way possible.
I couldn't get through it.
It's like...
I couldn't get through it back then when I rented it.
It's funny because I was scrolling through Amazon Prime or something last night, and they had Maximum Overdrive over there, and I stopped and watched the trailer. The trailer, I think it's a modern trailer, but it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I couldn't get through. There's a couple movies I couldn't get through. I couldn't get through Maximum Overdrive. I couldn't get through Langoliers.
Langoliers was pretty bad.
I couldn't get through Lawnmower Man.
That movie sucked so hard that like Stephen King sued to have his name. It has nothing to do with the story that it was supposedly based on.
I was like 15 minutes into that movie, and I was like,
I couldn't watch it either.
I took
that was like,
just to die.
I wasn't a big fan of like. I mean, I could talk about Stephen King adaptations all day long, but it's like I wasn't a big fan of Sleepwalkers either. The one about the cat, the cat people.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty terrible.
Speaking of cat,
I think we reviewed it a little.
Speaking of cat people, I'm gonna plug the cat people. The 80s cat people, not Natasha Kinski and fucking what's his name?
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
We reviewed that a couple.
I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. I saw it on cable. We reviewed it recently. Good movie. Real good movie. And you see Natasha Kinski naked in it through most of it.
Pretty much through the whole movie. I mean,
her and the redhead from Superman.
Essentially.
Superman 1 when he was in high school with. She's in it too, dude.
She's not naked as much as Natasha Kinski. Yeah, Natasha Kinski is naked for a little.
Yeah, it's a classy flick though.
Easily half.
It's a classy, smutty flick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's shot real well in New Orleans.
Yeah, Ben says, I saw The Langoliers for the first time recently. That's a trippy movie with bad special effects. Yeah, the story is good. I liked the story, but wow, the movie's pretty cringy. And I think, I feel like it was made for TV. Wasn't it made for TV? And honestly, some of the made for TV shit that they did of Stephen King stuff, wasn't The Night Flyer made for TV? And that wasn't bad.
The Stand was good.
The Stand was good. Rose Red was pretty good.
Somebody gave me a Blu-ray edition
Storm of the Century. That was pretty great.
I actually liked the television version of The Shining. Jen didn't like it, but I like it.
I don't love it.
It's very much like the book.
It's too literal.
Yeah. We saw it again. You watched it with me again.
Yeah, I still don't.
It's not bad. It's
not awful.
It's just like the book.
It's just and I think that's why I don't like it. It's because it's too close to the book.
Yeah, it's not. It's not fucking.
It's not fucking Stanley Kubrick.
It's not
I think is what I'm mad about.
Movie, no, it's more like a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not scary. Yeah. Stanley Kubrick's was scary because he left a lot to your imagination.
Yeah.
Like he left a lot of things like without context. Whereas everything is like too over-explained, like in the Stephen King.
If you want to read the book, The Shining, but don't want to read the book, just see the made-for-TV miniseries.
It's almost exactly like the book.
Yeah.
It's not great, but if you have to do a book report on it,
then that's what you read.
Then
that's what you watch.
Don't watch the Stanley Kubrick one. You'll get an F.
Yeah.
But if you watch the Mick Garris Stephen, that one's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Yeah, and I didn't mind it. I don't equate the two. They're like two totally different.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But like I said, I don't. When you're adapting a novel, you have to know what works on the page that's not going to work on the screen, because that doesn't always.
Yeah, the new Welcome to Derry, we like it.
I just watched the new one last night.
Yeah,
I've been keeping up with it. Yeah, it's great. It's I actually like it better than the It movies that came. I know it's the same director, and Bill Skarsgård is playing Pennywise and all that.
I think we've already done Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Did we?
I think we reviewed it, didn't we?
I've seen it several times, but I don't remember if we ever reviewed it or not. I have to go back and look. You can find it on a lot of multiple. It's, you know what, you want to hear something funny? When I was a kid, because when the fuck did that come out? 1972? No, maybe it was later than that. But I remember seeing it when I was pretty little, when I was like a little kid, and it scared the crap out of me. And then, like, I saw it many years later. I'm like, what the fuck was I scared? That is, like, not scary at all. You know what I mean? I don't even know what I was thinking when I was a kid. But it is pretty entertaining. If we haven't reviewed it, we will get around to it. I thought we already had, but I'll check. Tammy said I just watched Last of Us final season. It was pretty good. Yeah, I still haven't got into that yet. Like I said, I don't usually start series unless it's, especially I get really, like, intimidated or overwhelmed, like if it's already got like 4 or 5 seasons. I'm like, fuck, man, I got so much I gotta catch up on. But if something's just starting, like Welcome to Derry, I'm just like, all right, I can get in on the ground floor, you know what I mean? And I can just keep up with it instead of having to go back and do all this homework.
Really liked Alien Earth.
Alien Earth was good on Hulu. Yeah. I really liked that.
Yeah, that brought in Alien and fucking Prometheus and fucking Blade Runner. It was all coming into the same world. Yeah, and it kind of left you with a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Brian Sanchez says, your final thoughts on Terrifier, Terrifier 2, and Terrifier 3. I enjoyed them all for my own opinion. Yeah, I really liked, I think probably, I mean, I liked the first one a lot. The second was pretty good too. I think the third one's probably my favorite so far. Especially like all of the fucking, especially that chainsaw and the ass crack gag. I still can't get over how fucking funny that was. I laughed my ass off like in the fucking
We saw
theater.
them in the theater. But at least the third one we saw in the theater. I think the other two we streamed them.
Yeah, I think the first two we streamed them.
But, you know, they're kind of basic. The idea is basic. It's just it's a visual gag movie. The one that's kind of like that I liked even better was one called Clown or Clone.
Yeah, it's called Clown.
About Clone, I think it was called a Clown. I don't remember.
It was just called Clown.
Clown. It was spelled in a weird way.
No, not the title isn't.
It isn't?
But in the lore of the movie, they explain that it's like a cloyne, which is like a demon or something.
Yeah, it was
like
an evil demon.
And I always try to look, because I'm not a big scary clown person, although Art the Clown's fantastic. Like, he really took that to another level, because he almost did like a silent movie thing with it, which was great, like the physicality and stuff. So I'm usually kind of like, oh boy, another killer clown movie. But we ended up watching this one called Clown. I think it came out in 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. And it was like way better than I was like. It's super fun.
Dude found this weird looking fucking ancient hide. It looked like it was made out of a skin of fucking triangles and shit. And there was a little round ball. He put it on his nose and it stuck to his nose. He couldn't get it off. Trying to pull it off.
Well, it just looked like a clown suit at the beginning because he put it on for his son's birthday party.
Okay, yeah.
And then, like, the next day...
It mutated or something, didn't it?
The next day, he couldn't get it off.
He couldn't get it off. That's right. That's how it... And it started to grow into him. And then he transformed.
And then...
Into this demon.
A child-eating demon.
And it ate children, yeah.
And he definitely eats a lot of children in this. And I'm just like...
Yeah. And it's not silly like Terrifier in a way. It's kind of played straight at us from what I remember.
Sorta. I was really entertained.
It's a demon in the shape of a clown. Clowns are just an interpretation or reinterpretation of the way these demons look.
Of an actual demon.
Of the way there's a whole
species
lore of them. Yeah, it's a whole species of them, and there's a human race memories of these things.
Like if you're gonna say if you haven't seen,
they eat children.
Like, if you like killer clown movies and you haven't seen that, it was just called Clown. I don't remember what year it came out. I think it was 2015 or 2016 or something.
Once he fully transformed, he was a fucking monster.
But it's good. I wrote about it like a long time ago, like on my blog and stuff. That's why I remember.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was like a Nordic demon.
Something like that. Yeah. Like they had like a whole scary book.
Yeah.
Shit like that. It was pretty funny.
It was kind of like a Krampus.
Yeah, it was kind of similar. Like not super Krampus heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. And then let me see. Hold on. They're talking about. Oh, Camp Guy said Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which was, if you don't know, was the novella that Shawshank Redemption was based on, obviously. It's only about 100 pages. Yeah, and they made like a fucking fantastic movie out of that. You know? Green Mile. Yeah, that was a great one too. I don't even know. Green Mile, that's just marginally a horror movie. We just reviewed that actually probably a few months ago, a year ago, something like that. It wasn't that long ago that we reviewed it. I've seen it several times and I read the book too, but I've read most of Stephen King's shit, except for like the newer stuff. I really wish, since we're talking about Stephen King adaptations, the stuff of his that hasn't been adapted, please, 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 somebody adapt his novel Revival. That would be so fucking good. Oh my god. I was like amazed because I was just in a fucking used bookstore and I saw the hardback there, and it was like $8 or something. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck is that? I never heard of this book. Because like I said, I haven't kept up with his newer stuff because I have so much other stuff I got to read, and I just don't have time. And I was like, why not? So I bought it, and I read it. I was like, man, that's fucking great. I think it came out in like 2014 or something. And, man, I wish somebody would make a movie of it. Man, it's so good. Like somebody, like a serious, it needs to be like Mike Flanagan or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like, they need to go Dr. Sleep with it. Somebody, like, serious and good needs to make it. Or Frank Darabont would probably do a good job with it, too. I don't know if he's still doing Stephen King stuff, but yeah, it would be really good if somebody could do Revival. Because that was, like, I think that was one of my favorite, like, newer books of his that I read. Ben says, I like fucking used bookstores. I do, too. I do, too. Yeah, Ben says the ending of Green Mile is pretty horrific and supernatural. Yeah, that's true. It does have supernatural horror elements to it. But a lot of it is kind of like a drama. But, I mean, nothing wrong with that, is there? All right, so Ben says got to run, but I'll see you all later. Yeah, we're probably going to shut it down for the evening also. Because I think we've covered the movie. But, yeah, if you haven't seen The Long Walk, it's great. Easily, one of the better Stephen King adaptations. I know there's a lot of them. But, yeah, I liked it a lot. So, as you know, our next song is Sweet Home Alabama, but or Freebird or whatever. So yeah, not really. So so our next show is going to be on Wednesday night, as it usually is, as long as we have internet. You guys know how that happens sometimes.
Should be all right.
And what won in the poll? Overwhelmingly, all you little wrestling fans out there. We're going to talk about Vince McMahon.
Oh, shit.
You guys have been wanting us to talk about Vince McMahon, specifically about all of the... Are they even allegations anymore? Because did he get charged? Or I thought it just came out, like, the other day that he had just got... But, wow, I was, I was reading some stuff and watched... Because I don't know that much about wrestling. So I was, reading some stuff and watched a couple documentaries. I'm like, wow, this dude is... a piece of shit. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that. We'll kind of talk about a little bit of the background and everything, but mostly we've talked about kind of all the quote-unquote allegations about all the fucking horrible shit he's been up to all this time. So yeah, that won overwhelmingly in the poll. So you guys wanted us to talk about that, and that's what we're going to talk about. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Have a good day tomorrow, and we'll see you guys again on Wednesday night.